Seesaw. Anyone who has ever had a job already intimately understands seesaw because you see seesaw in every facet of modern corporate culture. On one hand, you have your hopes, your dreams, your desires to do your best work, and on the other hand, you have the shiftless layabouts who have somehow qualified as your co-workers, your peers, all of them unknowingly doing their best to drag you under with them. How do you win? There's no winning in seesaw, only the vague concept of separating from the pack and staying execution, a frantic effort to tread water long enough to remain above the surface while your colleagues clamber at your legs below and the sharks begin to circle up top. 7 out of 10. Hit Parade. Allegory for the wonder of insemination. You and your spermatozoa companions rush through the spinning dials of the prostate, clutter through the narrowest exit of the urethra, dodge the giant swinging testicles, and then slimily ejaculate across the finish line, destined to be discarded in the tissue, all in under a minute. 7 out of 10. DoorDash. In July 2019, it was revealed that popular food delivery service DoorDash had been swindling its independent contractors out of their tips. When a customer added a tip, instead of it going to the driver, it was paid directly to the company, who used that tip money to pay the driver their guaranteed minimum delivery fee before pocketing the rest. DoorDash claimed it had rectified this behavior, but it continued to do this for months after being found out. 7 out of 10. Tiptoe. In the best Indiana Jones film, the best one, Dr. Henry Jones Jr. is presented with a superficially simple challenge. Walk across a hall littered with leaded tiles. He quickly finds out that if one steps on the wrong tiles, they will fall to their death. To work out which tiles to step on, he needs to spell out the true name of God. Tiptoe involves zero spelling. Instead, you shove other races onto the tiles in front and laugh as they plummet. How did they get back out of the Grail Room in that movie? They just sort of show up next to a dying Sean Connery. 7 out of 10. The Whirligig. The quixotic struggle at the heart of Fall Guys is never more apparent than in The Whirligig, wherein you literally tilt at windmills on your arduous journey across a world rendered mad, filled with spiteful assholes who desire nothing more than to laugh at your misfortune. To me, The Whirligig fixes Cervantes' greatest error. You never recover your sanity. 7 out of 10. Hoarders. The Dark Souls of Hungry Hippos games. 7 out of 10. Slime Climb. What happens to the Fall Guys when they drown in slime? Every other time they perish, they seem to come back just fine, even from what would appear to be fatal falls. But if they get swallowed by the pink sludge, they are never seen again. 7 out of 10. Hoopsie Daisy. Finally, a game is bold enough to ask the question outright. If we told you to literally jump through hoops, how many hoops would you jump through? How many could you jump through? Me? I could jump through dozens. I'm amazing at it. Unfortunately, I'm exclusively teamed with people who see through the pretense and refuse to jump through anything at all. 7 out of 10. Fruit Shoot. I had a dream once where I trapped 5-year-olds on a treadmill and then pelted them with fruit salad. At the time, I couldn't have known that it was actually a nightmare. Although the kids crying should have been a clue. 7 out of 10. Jump Club. A bar rotates around a pole like a 2-dimensional dancer rendered in 3-dimensional space. All you need to do is leap over the bar each time it comes around. How anyone ever dies in this mode is beyond me. 7 out of 10. Tail Tag. Time means nothing. It is a human construct used by cavemen to explain why it's dark sometimes and bright at others. And few games demonstrate the fallibility of our interpretation of the 4th dimension as well as tail tag. There is, allowing for around 0.2 seconds of variance, only 300 milliseconds that matter in any given game of tail tag. The other 2 minutes, 29 seconds, 700 milliseconds exist to give you ample time to reflect on the many ways in which you have frittered away fleeting opportunities on this planet. Chances not taken, creative seeds unsown, risks packed away in board game cupboards. 7 out of 10. Rollout. It doesn't matter how fast you run, your best efforts will see to it that you only ever remain in one place. Worse, the people beside you, trapped in this hell as well, will actively do their best to trip you up, instead of focusing their attention and anger on the people who created this nightmare for you all. 7 out of 10. Block Party. You don't win Block Party, you simply survive. Stay focused for long enough and you will make it through to the next round with every other person capable of staving off distraction for not quite 3 minutes. This is easier said than done. 7 out of 10. Perfect match. The best part was when my wife walked in on me sitting hunched forward in front of my computer chanting banana, orange, mango, grape, watermelon, banana, orange, mango, grape, watermelon, like a Stepford wife trying to remember the ingredients for her breakfast smoothie while she copy-pastes a message onto her Facebook wall about how Mark Zuckerberg is going to delete all of her photos. Like her, I too think it would be better with vodka. 7 out of 10. Hexagon. Just when you think the rug has been pulled out from underneath you for the last time, Hexagon comes along and pulls it out again. 7 out of 10. Dizzy Heights. I grew up on a farm that, following quite a long walk, backed onto the Logan River. Millennia of the riverbanks breaking resulted in a broad, steep hill between the back of the farm and the riverbed itself. It was a 65-ish degree decline over 15 to 20 meters. Getting down to the river had been simplified thanks to a greater slope cut into the hillside, cut to make it easy for a tractor to make its way down to the water. Being young and dumb, my brothers and I would hop into a 40-gallon blue plastic drum and shove each other down the tractor path. One time, for a goof, my brothers shoved me down the steep side of the hill instead. The only thing that stopped me from crashing into the water was the stinging nettle thicket that it landed in. When I came to, a spider was crawling into the barrel. 7 out of 10. Rock and roll. Growing up playing soccer and earning more than a few red cards, the mantra that I heard the most from my coaches was play the ball, not the player. That spirit lives on in rock and roll with one catch. They never specify which ball. 7 out of 10. Egg scramble. The Formosa kukri snake of Eastern Asia is not venomous, its venom glands having atrophied thanks to a lifetime of stealing and then eating the eggs of nearby prey. It is an opportunist that targets only the most vulnerable, and more often than not, it goes unopposed in its efforts to steal that which does not belong to it. Only the long-tailed sun skink will aggressively defend its nest against the invader. Some days I am the snake, some days I am the skink. 7 out of 10. Jinxed. A common infected game mode, but you can't release a game for children with an infected game mode in the midst of a global pandemic. 7 out of 10. Fall Mountain. The race up Fall Mountain is short and pointless. Spinning turnstiles and giant boulders give way to hammers and weird little ledges my character can't ever seem to jump up on his first attempt, and then right at the top sits a crown that I've never ever reached before one of the other jerks playing in my session. 7 out of 10. Gate Crash. As the Mongol Empire rampaged across Asia and Europe in the 13th and 14th centuries, they presented their enemies with a simple choice. Surrender and pay tribute to the ever-growing empire or die. Too many city-states chose the latter, opting to defend their castle walls against the Mongol hordes in a futile effort to resist. When the Mongols crashed the gates, and barring any divine wind, this was an inevitability, they would kill every living thing within and then raze the buildings to the ground. According to some studies, the razing of these castles and the surrounding villages may have allowed enough trees to grow to stave off climate change related annihilation for a single year. 7 out of 10. Fall Ball. If FIFA 21 implemented an under 5s community soccer mode, it would look like Fall Ball. No communication, no ball handling skill, no real strategy beyond the nebulous, intangible desire to win. Watching Fall Ball is identical to watching the Knicks play as a fan of basketball. And when your team's terrible, playing Fall Ball is identical to watching the Knicks play as a fan of the Knicks. 10 out of 10.